And talking now with another candidate from Douglas West, John Skinner. And Mr. Skinner, like everybody else, I've been looking to move away from just what you say in your manifesto. We've got all that covered and we've got lots online. It's more about how you'd be reacting in the real world if you'd been in government over the last year with those big items that are broken. And there's been quite a few that have grabbed the attention. I mean, would you like to talk about the Sefton deal, for instance? I mean, where would you have stood on that? How would you have voted if it had gone to a vote to get your views on it?
The Sefton deal, my view of it, Paul, is that a lot of it was down to communication. Initially, the deal was announced, and it was absolutely the wrong thing to do. But then, as more and more information comes out, and this is what I found on the doorstep, you can talk to someone today, and tomorrow you have more information, but you don't actually have time to go back and tell that person that actually I found out some more. And you haven't got time to go back to the person you saw the day before that and say, well, actually, I found out a lot more now. So it's down to the art of communication, which I feel that government are getting better at, but not going perhaps far enough. And initially, with the Sefton deal, when it was announced, I probably would have said absolutely not. But then when you look at things, this has now given the Sefton the ability to pay the creditors. So the creditors then don't go into difficulties. So it keeps the economy rolling along. So in that view, then probably it has been the right thing to do. And again, it was said in the Keys that there have been two other companies. And I've heard of more who I don't think particularly would want their dirty washing, because that then sends out the wrong messages. And if you were a supplier to a company and you'd found that they'd have to go to the government for help, you would be reluctant then perhaps to supply them. And that slows everything up, slows the economy up. But the deal then keeps the economy going.
So you would have voted, if it had gone to a vote, you would have supported the government? With
the right information, and if all the information had been given at the outset, then yes, it is the right thing to do. I mean, Mr. Bell said at the Coleman Roman show that the gentleman from Sleepwell had made an offer, or hadn't made an offer. The gentleman from Sleepwell said he had. Now, I'm not saying who's right, who's wrong, but the truth is always somewhere in the middle.
Another one with the Pinewood deal. If you had been in government and that had been passed across you for a vote, how would you have gone on that one?
Well, with the Star Wars deal coming up, it seems like it's been the right deal to do.
That's with hindsight. I'm trying to put you in that position. If you were there at that time when you had just the information to hand, as it was then, would you have been hot or cold on the idea?
Hindsight's a wonderful thing, but initially I would have been cold on it. But it's one of those things which is coming to fruition. And again, it's gamble, isn't it, really?
I mean, do you accept the scope of government sort of report and the way that the government's moving, having to save money? I mean, they've got to find ways to cut their costs. And, how do you stand?
No, at the requisition meeting, there was a question put about the scope of government, which, to be honest, I don't think the chairman of the meeting fully understood the question. It was a bit sort of vague and coming on top of, do I want to be pelted with flour for being, a good candidate? It was a bit of a difficult one to answer, really. But having said that, I openly admitted, I held my hands up and I was honest and said I didn't know much about it.
Now, that was a surprise to a lot of people.
But what I've done then, since then, I've been to one of the committee members who sort of wrote the scope of government. I was obviously aware of it, Paul, and the structure and the scope, but I'd never actually sat down and read it. So with honesty, I said, well, I'm not sure about it. But having said that, over the weekend, I've researched it. I've been to one of the committee members and I now know a bit about it. Now, I can sit here and probably give you the full history.
I just like, would you be supporting them or not, and how?
But yes, I mean, there are a number of things which obviously look to be. I mean, some are good, contracting out, privatisation, and in order to save money. I mean, government aren't the world's best for running things, as we know. And if things could be run more efficiently and much better, then yes, let's look at it.
So,
but again,
give me an answer.
But again, it's cost effectiveness. You know, some things aren't you know, it's what am I looking for? It's getting best value, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you accept roughly where they're going on this sort of thing?
I do.
And if you were in UK politics, where would you be standing if you want to answer that? I mean, you know, left, right, Labour, Conservative. Where have you got a view on where you would be if you?
I'm probably establishment. I'm probably Tory.
That's okay. And talking about back to saving money or having funds cut. What about the student fees? How do you stand on that?
I would have voted in favour of retaining the student fees, but I know.
Sorry, you supporting government and charging people?
No. I would have voted in favour of keeping the student fees as they are.
Which the government paying the whole thing.
Yes.
But you accept they have to save some money somewhere, so you'd have a plan B, would you?
I didn't have a plan B, no, but I know, and I can't really say because I don't know that there were contingencies within government if the vote had have failed and gone the other way. But I don't know where those cuts would have been made, but I know they wouldn't have been very good.
But you would have government still paying?
I would have voted for them, to keep the fees, yes.